Bhukhandam Varanandam Paravaravidatam Dampadam Paurudampam Dim 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 Bam Dahamapi Dahamai Jhampa Jhampai Jhampai Tulyas Tulyas Tulya Duma 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 Kai Kunkumankai Kumankai Etate Purna Yukta Marahara Karaha Patumam Narasimha Bhubrit Bhubrit Bujangam Pralevavaram Prajwala Jwalamalam Kharjarjam Kharjadurjam Chaki Chaka Chakachit Kharjadur Jarjayandam Bhubhagam Bhogabhagam Gagagaganam Gardamatruddagandam Swacham Pritham Swagacham Najananandam Patumam Narasimha to stay away, like their fear of being alone, like fear of missing out, something like that, FOMO or something like that, fear of staying away. For people who have FOMO also, Bhagavan has a guna, it's called Mardava guna. Lakshmana will listen to everything with Bhagavan Sri Ram says, except one thing, which is anything to do with moving away from Bhagavan Sri Ram, he will not do. Samanya Dharma performed by Bhagavan Sri Ram. Vishesha Dharma performed by Bhagavan Sri Lakshman. Visheshatar Dharma performed by Bharata. And Visheshatam Dharma performed by Shatrughna. Kaudinyavam Savarvari Purna Chandram Srimat Parankushabadam Vajabringarajam Rangare Deshikabadaptash Deshikatvam Sri Ramakrishna Guruvarya Maham Prapadye Lokacharya Gurave Krishna Padasya Sunave Sansara Bhogi Sandrashta Jiva Jivatave Namaha.
Ramita Matram Yogindra Padareka Mayam Sadatada Tatma Satatim Ramanujam Munim Baje Srimati Tindra Yogi Padabja Bringam Shivan Shaila Munivaria Daika Patram Vignan Veda Shikrot Bhava Tattva Bodhyam Ramanujam Kalijitam Munimashayamaha Shimat Shatariyat Raja Kapavalamvam Samyo Payantra Gaganadi Munindra Bhaktam Vedanta Yukma Visiti Karana Pravinam Ramanujam Guruvaram Munimashayamaha.
Jai Nara. Welcome to this session after many moons. So it is good that in the span of time that we have not had any sessions, there have been moons.
That's a positive way to look at it.
We studied Chit Prakaranam first, and we just looked through Achit Prakaranam as well. Just a little recap for 2 minutes because it's been a while. I just thought I'll bring it back. Just 2 minutes. Bhagavan Narayana Bhimatana Rupa Swarupa Rupa Guna Vibhavasharya Shiladhinavati Katisha Sankheya Kalyana Gunaganam Padmavananayam Bhagavatim Shriyam Devim Nityanapainim Niravadyam Deva Deva Divya Mahishi Makhil Jagan Matarma Asmad Matarma Sharanya Sharanya Ananya Sharanya Sharanamaham Prapadye. Sharanagati, which is essentially the mool motive behind these sessions, essentially, and the mool motive behind Shri Sampradaya, Shri Parampara. Sharanagati has been the mool motive behind all our sessions, essentially. Because once we understand what Tattva is, once the Tattva is understood, we surrender to that Tattva. Because surrendering to an entity that we do not understand may cause problems, because what if that Tattva is not the Param Tattva? We believe our Acharya to be true and right and honest, and we accept everything he says or he says, apologies, to be true, because it is. However, for the satisfaction of our intellect, we study this. The study of this is more or less a very selfish motive, and it also shows us that there is something that we do not know, which we need not know, but knowing it will make our bhakti better. Because just by accepting what Acharya says and doing just that is enough. So we are not trying to understand to better accept what our Acharya say. We are already accepting that. We are only studying to better understand what our Acharyas are saying. So we can practice what they are telling us to do. So Lokacharya Swamiji is doing exactly that. With the grace of his Acharya, he is trying to tell us, who is our Acharya, that this is what your Acharyas will or have already said or will say. so that you should understand what they are saying. Your acharyas are saying that you should surrender under the lotus-like feet of Bhagavan Sriman Narayana. So understand that this is Bhagavan Sriman Narayana. This is you. And this is the way. This is what is around you. Tattva Trayam is exactly what Lokacharya ji is saying, what exactly Ramanuja Swamiji also said. That these are the three tattvas, understand them, you will understand the Param Tattva. Because these three tattvas are the conglomeration of which forms the Param Tattva. So first we talked about Chit Prakaranam. Then we talked about Achit Prakaranam, which is this Prakriti. And then we are talking about Ishwara Prakaranam. And in Ishwara Prakaranam, we had gone a little further and talked and understood what Bhagavana was. But Bhagavana, if he is Nirguna, let's assume he is Nirguna. And the Nirguna here can have many different meanings. But the two different meanings that are in general understood in the public is that there is no guna. गुणों से रहित. ऐसा तत्व है ही नहीं जो गुणों से रहित हो सकता है. There cannot be a tattva without any qualities, because observation of any entity is an outcome of qualities. It exists, therefore I know it does. These qualities tell us that this is the entity. When you see a cow, you don't just see a cow. You see her horns if she has horns, see a hump if she has a humps, hooves, split hooves, or one single hoof. You recognize it because of the attributes of the cow and therefore say cow. Because a small tumbler also you will call a cup. A metallic tumbler will also be called a cup. A ceramic tumbler with a hook where you can hold it with a holder is also called a cup. When you go to a coffee shop, what they give you is also called a cup. Now, how does an individual discern which one is a cup? And how is it that human beings as individuals are recognizing all these flow entities which are completely different in the quality that they portray into our eyes are still called cups? Because the utilitarian effect of these entities are that of holding of liquid entities for consumption. And therefore we say these are all cups. So there are attributes which we look for to recognize an entity. Without attributes, recognition of an entity is not possible. So gunas are the attributes of Bhagavana, which allow different entities like you and I to understand this param entity and recognize it to be what it truly is. So Bhagavana is Vishishtha, Vishesha, filled with attributes, so many attributes that he is Nirguna. There are so many gunas that you cannot count it. And therefore, from the session previously, we have been discussing the gunas of Bhagavan. And then the first 6 gunas that we talked about, भगवान, भाग से युक्त जो तत्व हैं उनको भगवान कहा जाता है. धन से युक्त को धनवान कहा जाता है, वैसे ही भग से युक्त को भगवान. ज्ञान, वीर्य, ऐश्वर्य, तेज, बल, शक्ति. These are the 6 gunas that we had spoken of. Just barely touched upon them if I'm not mistaken. And then we'll just move ahead from there. We had mentioned भगवान ज्ञानंदय का स्वरूपम, ज्ञान और आनंद का स्वरूप है. ऐसे क्यों नहीं कहते कि भगवान ज्ञान के स्वरूप है? यहाँ ज्ञान को आनंद से संपुटित क्यों किया गया? Why have they come together? Why is Lokacharya Swamiji using ज्ञानंदय स्वरूपम? Why is he not just using ज्ञान स्वरूपम अथवा आनंद स्वरूपम separately? Because he has used separately with that Anandam. Bhagavan is Satchid Anandam. There he doesn't use Gyan, Satchid Gyananandam. In some other place, Gyananandamayam Devam Nirmala Sphatika Kritim Adharam Sarva Vidyanam Hayagrivam Upasmahe. description of Hayagriva is using the word Jnananandaika Sarupam. But why here Bhagavan is being referred to as Jnananandaika? And I think we mentioned this before as well. Anandam, Jnana is a source of Anandam actually. Anandam and Jnana are one and the same. Anandam can only be obtained with Jnanam. Sthula Rupa, when you gain knowledge, that will bring Anandam. With knowledge only Anandam will thrive. Without knowledge, Anandam will not. For instance, I'll give you an example. At the moment, what is it? The Halloween coming up? Because I'm in the West right now. So I'm Halloween. Deepavali. Let's use Deepavali as a good example. In Deepavali, what do? Let's assume that we are expecting to have people around. Atithi Devo Bhava. If you are expecting them, then they are Atithi Devo Bhava. But then let's assume that we are not expecting them and they turn up like the last session which we did. So we are very happy that we have Atithi coming to our place and giving us the opportunity to serve them, because that is very rare now. People will take appointment and come. So for Atithi to come to a house which welcomes Atithi, in this day and age, both of them are very lucky. They have the great Ashirvad of Bhagavan Sriman Narayana that there is a household which accepts Atithi nowadays with pleasure. And there is an entity, group of people, there is a household who is fine going to somebody's house without informing them. It is a great Vatsalya of Bhagavan. We'll understand what that is. So this Jnana, when you have the knowledge that Atithi has come, only with that Jnanam is Anandam born. If you didn't know Atithi were there, you will still be in that state you are in before. Only with the knowledge can you experience anything. Any experience of Sukham and Dukkham are both outcome of knowledge. Every experience in our daily life and all the lives that we have lived so far and everything that we have experienced thus far, all experiences are an outcome of knowledge, Jnana. Without Jnanam, there is no experience. You touch something, it is cold. You experience it to be cold because of the knowledge of the fact that you know what cold is. Therefore, the knowledge is being transmitted. The fact that it is cold and you say, okay, it's a little cold, it feels like wood, it must be wood. Because of the knowledge, I have wood. This wood is very strong. I'm able to keep a computer on it. Oh, with the grace of Bhagavan, there is a computer. I'm able to speak with somebody thousands of miles away. Oh, I'm happy that we are able to have this communication. There is this interface that is happening between us and the many people that if they do watch, they watch. So that interface is there. And with that interface, we say that there was an attempt to share some information. That information has been shared. That brings a sense of contentment. Oh, that contentment is bliss. Therefore, I am blissful. It is a sequence of knowledge only. So the bliss and knowledge are not two different entities. However, knowledge, there are certain kinds of knowledge which may not bring you bliss, will not bring you happiness. When the knowledge is limited, it will not bring you happiness. For instance, you think an Atithi is coming and somebody comes, you're very happy, and then suddenly he says, we are the tax people and somebody has defrauded you, now you lost lot. That knowledge is not bringing you happiness. It's bringing you sorrow. It's like, oh, what happened? It's bringing you tension. Because that is limited knowledge. But then suddenly you realize that I'm in the Bhagavan, I'm on the lotus-like feet of Bhagavan. It doesn't matter whether I lose money or gain money. Money is just a thing. We can use something else. We can use water. There is no water anymore from the taps. You have to fill it once a day. Like in India, there are many places where they fill their buckets once a day and they keep it like that. Because of the problems with the water delivery system, you see. Because we are more, for instance, in Sikkim, in the winters, we get less water because the waters freeze. And therefore, the pipes also freeze. Sometimes there is a problem here and there. So we have to fill water and keep with ourselves. And that knowledge may not be good knowledge. That we have to work extra for something that we were getting easily before. Right? But then convert that into Kainkaryam for Bhagavan. The more you get, the better it is. Situations also change. The knowledge is the same. Let's assume we are working more for Bhagavan. Now water is required for Snanam for Bhagavan. Now if a Kainkaryam, Bhagavad Kainkaryam you're trying to do, you say that for Bhagavan I want to get water. It doesn't matter where it comes from. I will go up the hill, fetch water from the nearby Kula, from nearby stream. Then you are happy. The same situation. Both times you don't have water because of the same situation, because there is some problem. Now you fix the problem. What do you fix? You don't fix the problem. You're just going to go and get the water. In both situations, you are going to go fix the water.
Is there something else?
Sorry. I don't know what it does. It listens to me when I don't want it to listen. Anyway, so in both situations, there is no water. In both situations, you are going to fetch water. But in one situation, you're fetching water for yourself. The other situation, we're fetching water for Bhagavan. The jnana is the same. Situation has changed. What is the difference in situation? In Bhagavad Kainkaryam, you realize the magnitude of this reality and how small a speck you are. That is knowledge. We realize that everything essentially is Bhagavanas only. And therefore, it doesn't matter where I get the water in the tap or where I get it up there. In the end, I have to survive. In the end, I have to perform Kainkaryam. And because after I leave this body, anyway, he's taking me. And I have to live out this prarabdham anyway. That knowledge is bringing us bliss. And that knowledge is called Jnananandaika Swarupam. That jnana is Ananda. Not Pratikul Gyan. The Gyan which is saying that no water from now on. And you're not doing Bhagavad Kainkaryam. That is called Pratikula Gyan. That brings Dukkham. And there are other kinds of knowledge which neither bring you happiness nor sorrow. Oh, you have a letter. Okay. No one cares about letters anymore. Nobody writes. So it's either from the bank or from your university. So when I was in school, and even till date actually, I was a naughty kid. Unlike my brother was a little more Siddha Sada. I was a little naughty. So education wise, I would be fine. I would study and I would get myself my things. I would be on top of things. But outside of that, I would do something or the other. So whenever my father got an email or a phone call from the school, my father would be having one attack. Like, what has he done now? Not that kind of email. But if you have a person just getting any regular mail, you are getting advertisements, for instance, that is neither happiness nor sadness. It is what it is. You just throw it. Nobody cares. And therefore, that is called Udasin Gyan. The knowledge can be of various types. Here, Bhagavan is Jnananandaika Swarupam. When you use the word Anandam here with Jnanam, that means Sampurna Jnana. It is not in part. When we say Jnana, it will refer to all of them. When we say Anandaika Jnana, it refers to everything. And therefore, it refers to Bhagavan. Anandaika Swarupa Jnanatmakatvam. पूर्णतः आनंद रूपता होते हुए पूर्णतः स्वयं प्रकाशता ज्ञान होता है. We have already discussed this. I will not get into it. Saying jnana is referring to Bhagavan. He is not only Jnanandaika Swarupa. What does that mean? It means that he is the embodiment of Jnanam. But in Jnanam, when we talked in Achit Prakaranam, Jnana is what it cannot. It requires a sentient entity to establish it. It is not self-illuminating. Does that make sense? It is not self-illuminating. For instance, Atma is self-illuminating. It knows itself. Dharma bhuta jnanam. Jnana doesn't know itself. It only makes others known. And therefore, when Jnana and Atma come together, the Atma knows others and the Jnana knows itself. They use each other. Therefore, Atma by itself does not exist. It exists with Jnanam only. Right? Atma only knows itself, Gyan doesn't know itself. Atma cannot know anything else, Gyan makes others known. Right? They come together. And what happens? Atma knows everything else, Gyan knows itself, and therefore Atmanam Jnanam. Jnana Swarupam. Bhagavan, on the other hand, is the embodiment of Jnana, and this Jnana is self-illuminating as well. स्वयं प्रकाशता ज्ञान होता है, इनका ज्ञान स्वयं प्रकाशित भी होता है because of the prabhava of Bhagavan. And it is anandam from all sides and all aspects. You cannot say that this part of his jnana is a little sorrowful, this part is a little mischievous, this part is a little angry, and this part. No, it's all anandam. All of it is anandam only in the end. Vijnanam anandam brahma, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. That Ananda Rupa is Brahma, which is Bhagavan. So therefore, the Kalyana Guna of Bhagavan are Nitya. They are devoid of any blemishes. It always exists. Because knowledge which is Anandam, which is bringing you bliss, cannot be limited. Because the absence of that knowledge will then bring you sorrow. You see. If something is bringing you bliss, that essentially means that when that something was not there, it was bringing you sorrow, or you were not blissful. If you were already blissful, something cannot be brought to you which is already existing with you. I already have water for 1,000 lifetimes. You're bringing me a glass of water. It's not going to change the dynamics of how much water I have. Just like that, if Bhagavana, the Anandam was limited, where you say that I had this much Anandam and now it's over, then it will lead to sorrow. It will lead to the lack of Anandam. Therefore, it cannot be a full form of Anandam. It will be limited. And if it is limited, then it is not Anandam anymore. Therefore, Ananda must essentially be Nitya. Always existing and never ending. And nothing is greater than or equal to him. So no Anandam is greater than or equal to this Anandam, but this Anandam itself. This blissful is the epitome of blissfulness. There is nothing beyond it. And if you say, I don't know if I am facing that, if the moment some entity is able to experience this level of bliss, can rightfully say that this must be the Brahmanandam only. This cannot be anything else. Because Shastra Vakya is saying this is it. If you are reaching something like that, then there cannot be anything beyond it. There is nothing else like it. Therefore, you must have reached Brahmanandam only. Cannot have reached anything else. That is a very important reason as to why Bhagavan in numerous scriptures, numerous Shastra, says nothing like me or better. Or nothing like Bhagavan or better. Even when Swayambhu Manu and Shatarupa Rani meditated upon Bhagavan Sriman Narayana and he came and they asked for a son like him, then son like me can only be me. There is no one like me, therefore I will only come. But you wait until you become Dasharatha and then I will come. So essentially that's what happened. Swayambhu Mani and Shatarupa Rani are only Dasharatha and Kausalya. And then they had Bhagavan Sri Ram, who is Bhagavan Sriman Narayana. So therefore, we must understand that the path to reaching Bhagavana is such that we must understand qualities of that entity. So if we are mistaken, if we see some other qualities which are not resonating with what we have understood, then we can surely say that we are hallucinating, or this may not be what I'm looking for. This is something different from what I understood. It is to allow us to give a right path. Otherwise, people will close their eyes and everybody will become meditative and then enlightened overnight. And then we'll all be gurus. Then who will be the Shishya? Because everybody is guru only. So actually, Acharyas must have understood this much more in advance. They realize that if we don't give them direction, they will all become gurus. then we will all be obsolete. They gave direction and said, if you don't follow this, then they don't come under the category of Acharya or Guru, then you can reject them. Therefore, Shastra is so important because it gives you a blue book upon which you must compare everything. Okay, somebody is saying Kalki Avatara is already come. Is this, let's go to my blue book. Oh no, must reject it. Somebody is saying Kalki Avatara is going to come in 3 forms. 3 forms, Kalki Avatara. And 2 has already come, 1 is going to come. Is there a Shastra Pramana here? There is no Shastra Pramana. There is Pramana against this. So reject. If the Shastra is saying something, it's the best thing to do is to just go along with what the Shastra is saying for a simple reason that it is not Shastra, Bhagavan, Veda Bhagavan is not saying that what you are saying is wrong. What Veda Bhagavan is saying is what I'm saying is right. That may be wrong or right, but this is definitely right. And we don't have the capacity to discern whether this is correct, this is wrong. So the best thing for us to do is follow Shastra. Shashanaditi. Allow it to direct you. Allow शासन करने दीजिए. उनका नाम ही शास्त्र है. शासन करने के लिए आप नहीं दोगे, आप उन पर ही प्रश्न चिन्ह उठाओगे, तो वो शास्त्र कहां से रहे? वो तो अशासन हो गया, अशास्त्र हो गया वो. ज्ञान शक्ति आदि कल्याण गुण has been used in this. What is Adi? Jnana Shakti Adi. Wherever there is Jnana Shakti Adi, Bala, Virya, Teja, Vatsalya Adi gunas are there, and we will now discuss a few gunas of Bhagavan. Okay. So let's divide these guna Adi gunas into 3 categories: Vatsalya Adi guna, Shaurya Adi guna, Jnana Shakti Adi guna. Because different, what we are doing is, humans are very famous at categorizing. We categorized all animal kingdom into kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Then we categorize species into subspecies and race and this and that. Everything is categories for us. So taking that trend forward, we are categorizing gunas of Bhagavan also. So Vatsalya Adi guna, Shaurya Adi guna, and Jnana Shakti Adi guna. So first is Vatsalya Adi guna. So we will not discuss all of them or all of the ones that I have in this text. I have a different text. I know that I've told you that before, but because there are very, very many, so we will go through some important ones which we can relate to, because others are a small variation of the initial guna also. So we can go through them separately. Saushilya. Even though Bhagavan is greater, he is the greatest of the great. He has the ability to live among us, being the lowest possible, like we are the lowest people possible, born in the Kali Yugam, can't follow Shastra properly, can't understand Shastra properly, can't read, we don't know how to respect our Acharya. I don't know how to respect. I didn't even know how to speak with my Acharya. So after a few days, he sat me down and he taught me, this is how you refer to me. This is how you should speak to somebody who is the same age, somebody who is older than you. This is how you speak. I had no idea. So you see, we are the lowest. I'm the lowest of the low, and Bhagavan doesn't mind staying with me. So when I worship Shalagramam also, Bhagavan is allowing me. So that is his Saushilya guna. At the same time, hiding his greatness. And if you look at that, with the gopinis, and when Krishna Bhagavan, very young, playing with his friends, every now and then he used to give the glimpse of him being the Supreme Personality. But then he would hide his greatness and play along. Krida. He is easily available. Can you find him in Vaikuntham after Adhen Moksha? Para Avatar. Then can you find him in Vyuha Avatar, Vibhava Avatar, Antaryami Avatar also difficult, Archavatara becomes easy. Vyuha Avatar also difficult, no, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, how are you going to find? Bhagavan Sriman Narayana, where are you going to go? Which ocean are you going to swim in to find him? Not possible. Vibhava avatar only is kala parichinna paricheda. Kala paricheda means limited to time. Bhagavan Ram will come only certain time, Krishna will come certain time, Matsya Kurma Varaha come a certain time, and then they will leave. So that is also not possible for everyone. वो भी दुर्लभ है, सुलभ नहीं है. अंतर्यामी अवतार, हम स्वयं को तो जानते ही नहीं है, हम अंतर्यामी स्वरूप का कैसे चिंतन करें? और अहंकार तो उसी प्रकार से बढ़ ही रहा है ना. The moment I say Bhagavan is within me, suddenly you start saying I am only Bhagavan. And after that, how will you attain Bhagavan? When you are only Bhagavan, you already attained. So there is nothing else to attain. So you just keep being born again and again because you are anyway Bhagavan, enjoying. So therefore we say that this is also ये भी बहुत दुर्लभ है. तो सुलभ क्या है? सुलभ है अर्चा अवतार. भगवान सब जगह है. मंदिर में जाओ भगवान वहीं स्थापित है. अपने घर में शालिग्राम भगवान को रखो, वही भगवान है. भगवान इज देयर राइट इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू. ही इज भगवान देयर राइट इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू. प्राण प्रतिष्ठा करके कोई भी विग्रह को रखिए, वो भगवान ही है. Exactly what is the para vibhava antaryami is in archa. So is very convenient. That is the shaulabhya guna. And not only is he very accessible, he doesn't like to part with his devotees. Tam vina kaikai putram bharatam dharmacharinam name snanam bahumatam vastranya bharanani cha. Bhagwan Sri Ram is bathing in ocean down south, feeling very cold winter time. Then he is thinking about Bharata, who is his beloved devotee. Because dharma will always look for moksha. Is an embodiment entity. Dharma artha. If you look at the purushartha, dharma artha kama moksha here. Who is the embodiment of dharma and who is the embodiment of moksha? Dharma always wants to stay with moksha because the only way to attain moksha is through dharma. And who is the vigraha of dharma? Ramo vigrahavan dharma. So Bhagavan always wants to be with the embodiment of moksha, who is Bharata. Of course, all of them are embodiments of Bharata because they are performing the varied levels of dharma. Samanya dharma performed by Bhagavan Sri Ram. Vishesha dharma performed by Bhagavan Sri Lakshman. Visheshatar dharma performed by Bharata. And Visheshatam dharma performed by Shatrughna. Right? Have we gone this before, or should I just give a slight brief? So
We didn't go through.
Yeah.
I'll just give a brief then. I'm sorry. So dharma. What is dharma? Let's start with that.
Dharma is what is in the Shastra.
That which holds everything together.
Yeah.
Correct. Both of them. That is absolutely correct. Dharanati, dharayati. That which धारण जो करते हैं, उसी धातु से धरती का भी उत्पत्ति होता है. वो शब्द, the same word, the same धातु, same मूल, the same root. जो धारण करते हैं, है ना? तो शास्त्र को धर्म क्यों कहते हैं? क्योंकि शास्त्र हमारे प्रति शासन करते हैं और हमें धारण करते हैं. अगर हम उनको धारण करने देते हैं, वो हमें धारण करते हैं. हम धर्म का का पालन करते हैं कि धर्म हमारा पालन करते हैं. दोनों होता है ना. हम धर्म का पालन करते हैं और धर्म हमारे पालन का हेतु बनते हैं. धर्म एव हतो हन्ति धर्मो रक्षति रक्षितः. उसी का तात्पर्य है ये. धर्म का रक्षण आप करोगे तो धर्म ही वही धर्म आपका रक्षण करेगा. दैट विल ओनली प्रोटेक्ट यू. सो जो धारण करते हैं वो धर्म है. ये विश्व को धारण कौन करते हैं?
भगवान.
तो धर्म कौन हुए?
भगवान.
भगवान ही. कृष्णम धर्मम सनातनम. सनातन है. अभी धारण कर रहे हैं, कल धारण नहीं करेंगे, उस प्रकार से हम नहीं देख सकते. ये आत्मा वही जायते पुत्र. भगवान से ही सृष्टि की उत्पत्ति हुई है. तो हम तो भगवान के ही हुए ना. पुत्र तो पिता का ही तो होता है, किसी और का तो नहीं होता ना. हम Bastola, surname, son will also be Bastola only.
Yeah.
Velu, son will also be Velu, the daughter will also be Velu until marriage at least. So पिता का ही तो पुत्र होता है और किसी का तो नहीं होता. आत्मा वही जाते, तो भगवान से ही ये सृष्टि की उत्पत्ति होती है, लीला विभूति का उत्पत्ति की होती है, लीला विभूति भगवान से ही उत्पन्न होती है। तो ये लीला विभूति भगवान ही तो है, भगवान के ही तो है, इट इज ऑफ भगवान ओनली। भगवान ही ये लीला विभूति को धारण करते हैं, प्रलय समय में भी, सृष्टि के समय में भी। एट द टाइम ऑफ प्रलय ऑल्सो ही होल्ड्स अस, एट द टाइम ऑफ सृष्टि ऑल्सो ही होल्ड्स अस। करारविंदेन पदारविंदम मुखारविंदे विनिवेशयन्तम वटस्य पत्रस्य पुटे शयानं गोविंददा
बालमुकुन्दं
मनसा स्मरामि। So at the time of pralayam also, he is providing charanamrit to his devotees in his vakshasthala. Therefore he is वो हमें प्रलय के समय में भी धारण ही करते हैं, तो उन्हीं का नाम धर्म है। धर्म कितने प्रकार के होते हैं ना, धर्म संकट के विषय में बात करते हैं। तो फॉर इंस्टेंस देयर इज एन सिचुएशन, the best thing to do is give a situation that already exists, so that makes life easier.
Yeah.
So if you look at the yaksha prashna, you must be aware of the story already, so I will not get into it, but there are different folds to this. The first, whoever went to drink water, what was their dharma? We must understand. Because he came out as a Rakshasa, right? Yaksha came out as a Rakshasa. He says that this belongs to me.
Right.
So you can only drink after you answer my questions. And we will not get into what the others did. What did Yudhishthira do? His dharma is to be sthira. स्थिति धीर मुनि रुच्यते। दुख के समय भी दुखेषु दुग्न मनाः सुखेषु विगत स्पृहा वितराग भय क्रोध स्थिति धीर मुनि रुच्यते। वो धर्म है उनका। सबसे प्रथम धर्म क्या पालन किया उन्होंने? स्थिर बुद्धि का जो धर्म है, टू रिमेन इन अ स्टेट ऑफ इक्वानिमिटी ऑफ माइंड, दैट इज योर धर्म। ही परफॉर्म दैट धर्म। He didn't come into the influence of that deafening thirst that he had, which the others did. First drink water, then we'll do the rest, because I cannot control myself. But Yudhishthira forewent even that, because he performed his dharma. Right? So there are two dharmas. To protect this body is also dharma. So for protecting the dharma, you must drink water. But to remain calm is also dharma at this time of adversity. When he sees that 4 of his brothers are lying dead, then the first thing he will understand is that there is some problem with the water. So the other 3 brothers didn't realize from the first one. The third brother didn't realize either. Bhim was sent last. Bhim would have seen 3 brothers lying there dead, right? If Bhim saw 3 brothers lying dead, he could have put 2 and 2 together and said, there is some problem with water, I cannot drink this water. Yet he gave into the thirst. So which dharma is more important, which dharma is less important comes. And therefore, what is dharma? Bhagavan is dharma. Ramo vigrahavan dharma. Therefore, whatever is bringing us closer to Bhagavan becomes the greater dharma. Even though, let's say there are 3 different ways, let's assume 4 different ways of attaining Bhagavan. There can be one way which is better than the other, or more respected by Bhagavan. And these are the 4. The first is Samanya Dharma. Perform exactly what the Vedam say. Bhagavan Sri Ram performed Samanya Dharma. Not for a moment did he move out of it. That's why he is called Maryada Purushottam. Uttama Purusha. Maryada se. Meaning he doesn't do anything that is Maryada se viparit, wo kuch karte hi nahi hai. Something that cannot be done, he doesn't do at all. Then Vishesha Dharma. जो सामान्य धर्म का पालन करता है, उनका सहायक बन के रहना है। भगवान का das. That becomes Vishesha Dharma. If you have Samanya Dharma and Vishesha Dharma, which must you choose?
Vishesha.
Vishesha Dharma. Why? Because Vishesha is over Samanya Dharma. Sandhya Vandanam is Samanya Dharma. Bhagavad Pujan is Vishesha Dharma. If you have to do Sandhya Vandanam and Bhagavad Pujan, but you only have time to do one, at that point in time, what do? You perform Vishesha Dharma. For instance, you're supposed to wake up at 4 o'clock and go to the temple for Abhishekam, or for some reason to do what is required for Bhagavan. But then you wake up only at 5 o'clock. You're supposed to be in temple at 5:15. Now, 15 minutes you can't shower and do a Sandhya Vandana, not possible. What do? Well, you have to do. What can you do? What is Samanya Dharma? Sandhya Vandana is Samanya, Vishesha Dharma is that you go perform a Vishesha Dharma, come back and complete a Sandhya Vandana, which is Samanya Dharma. So there is a hierarchy. Then you have something called Visheshatar Dharma, which Bharata perform. What is the difference between Bharata, Sri Bhagavan Bharata and Lakshmana? Lakshmana will listen to everything with Bhagavan Sri Ram says, except one thing, which is anything to do with moving away from Bhagavan Sri Ram, he will not do. If Bhagavan Sri Ram said, you take care of the kingdom, I will go and come back, Lakshman would say, no, you can do what you want, but I am not staying. I will go with you. There is no way I am listening to you here. So there are certain things Lakshman also will not listen.
Yeah.
But Bharata will listen to everything what Bhagavan Sri Ram says, even before him saying it. Bharata will listen to everything. Without any selfish motive. He said, I'm not coming back. Bharata, he said, I'll also stay in I will not go back to this thing. I'll send the Padukas. Padukas will rule for 14 years and I'll only come after that. He waited for 14 years. He could have also said, I also want to come with you. That is a very fair point. He could have stayed. But he did not, because he listened to Bhagavan Sri Ram. Whatever Bhagavan Sri Ram says, he'll do. That is Visheshatar Dharma. Now Shatrugna, he barely spoke to Rama here in this context.
Yeah.
He didn't care about Bhagavan Rama. He only performed Kainkaryam to the Dasa of Bhagavan. The Param Dasa of Bhagavan is Bharata. So he performed Kainkaryam to the Param Dasa of Bhagavan, who is Bharata. So that is Visheshatam Dharma. Our Acharyas are Param Dasa of Bhagavan, because they are the Dasa of 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 Bhagavan Sri Lakshmi, Bhagavati Devi Lakshmi, who is the Param Dasa of Bhagavan Sriman Narayan. So if one Dasa, if you perform Kainkaryam to one Dasa of Bhagavan, the direct Dasa, how much benefit will you get if you perform Kainkaryam to the Dasa of 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 Bhagavan? So the further away you go performing Kainkaryam, the better it is. Just for this context, don't misunderstand, and then people will be serving anything and everything and say Bhagavad Kainkaryam. But that is not the motive of this. Is that Dharma also has different understanding. Essentially, Dharma is only one. It will all merge into that one only. But understanding different situations to understand this Dharma is very important. So tam vina kai putram bharatam dharmacharinam name snanam bahumatam vastranya bharanani cha. यही इतना ठंड है, वहां कितना ठंड हो रहा होगा भारत को. भारत के बिना तो हमें स्नान लेने का भी मन नहीं कर रहा. Madhava Guna. He doesn't like to be parted from his devotees. He always wants to be with them. Whatever Bhagavan thinks, he speaks. Whatever he speaks, he does. Mana, Vani और कर्म एक रूप होना, उसको आर्जव गुण कहते हैं. तो if Bhagavan is saying something in the Bhagavad Gita, it must be true. Because only if it is true, he would say it. And whatever he did must also be true. And it must be adhering to dharma. So when Bhagavan Sri Ram sent Sita to the forest, that must have been under the purview of dharma. That must have been the only way and the right way. But Bhaktajan also say that that is the one mistake Bhagavan did. Because even Bhagavan can make a mistake, but Paduka never made a mistake for 14 years. There was not one blemish on the Paduka, but there was one blemish on Bhagavan. It is just a matter of speaking. वो भावना से बात करते हैं भक्तजन, तो उस प्रकार से भी करते हैं. परंतु हम क्या कह सकते हैं कि भगवान, whatever he does, he will, it is under the purview of dharma. Not just Bhagavan Ram, even Bhagavan Krishna, Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, all the avatars, Parshurama, ityadi, does under the purview of dharma only. Because dharma is what? That which is bringing you closer to Bhagavan is called dharma. That which is taking you away from Bhagavan is called adharma. That's it. That is the essence of dharma. If you're doing something which may be adharma from Vedam, but then is bringing you closer to Bhagavan, it is dharma. That's what my Acharya said. That I'm quoting him. So somebody wants to take me up on that. Because essentially papam is actions that is removing you in the path of dharma. That's all.
The classic example for that is basically, right, that which brings you closer to the Lord is dharma, that even if Vedas say it. You can go back to Jaya Vijaya itself. They had a choice to be dharmic and be born 7 times, right? Or be adharmic and be born 3 times. So they wanted to be back to the Lord. So that is the example there, right?
Perfect
So,
example.
yeah, so you I want to be closer. I don't mind being adharmic. So there you go. It's permitted.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're absolutely correct. That is the best example that one could give. Jaya in Vijaya.
Yeah.
Because the Sanat, Sanandan, Sanat Kumar and Sanatana, the 4 Nitya Brahmachari of the children of Brahmadev, they gave Shrapam to Jaya and Vijaya, and they were born 3 times, right? As Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, then Kumbhakarna and Ravana, and Shishupala and Dandavakra. So they had to be born in these ways where they had to perform Sambrahma Yoga. I think we mentioned that before, where you hate Bhagavan to attain him. So that is also possible. If you are going to attain him, that is also dharma only. Great example. That is called, what did we say? Arjava Guna. Now we have Vatsalya Guna. Bhagavan does not focus on the demerits of his devotees. See, that's the reason why we are what we are. We perform Kankarya to the best of our abilities. Because 99% of what I perform must be non-Kankarya. But he is always forgetting all of that conveniently. And remembers as one of few things that also I must have done by mistake. And it must have been in his favor. There is a great story. One Acharya told me once that there was this one thief who came to the temple and to steal the Abhushana Bhagavan. And when he came in, he slipped and he fell. When he slipped and fell, his hand moved and he rang the bell. And then the bell rang, so the pujari came out, he ran away. But then Bhagavan and Sri Lakshmi are fighting as to how great this devotee is. Bhagavan is saying, look, my devotee is great because he rang the bell for me. But then Sri Lakshmi Mataji is saying, no, he is my devotee. He not only rang the bell, but he fell on the floor also. Shashtanga Pranam. Then Bhagavan is saying, no, he's my devotee. He rang the bell, he fell on the floor, and he put his head also on the floor because he basically banged it. Then Sri Lakshmi is saying, no, he's my devotee because he rang the bell, he fell on the floor, he put his head on the floor, and his hand was also in front because he fell. He's saying, because they're completely forgotten the fact that he has come to steal their clothes basically. Abhushan, what else? All the gold and ornaments. So that is Vatsalya Guna. So every time you think of this thief, you think of Vatsalya Guna. Then we have the next, which is the Sauryadi Guna ka Vishay. So whatever, whoever, or whatever thing, wherever, there is something that goes against the devotee and against the Bhaktajan, against Bhagavan finds them also as again, they are against Bhagavan also, essentially. If Bhagavan finds them as enemies, that's called Shauryadi Guna. Shaurya. So one of them, Parakrama. He has the ability to enter an enemy territory and destroy it from within. What is it called? Spy. I don't know what. When you go into the enemy territory and destroy them from within.
I
Do not know. Okay.
Anyway, we don't know now. It's like a virus. You enter the territory and destroy it from within. COVID is a good example. In the Ramayana, there is one great, lovely shloka in the Yuddha Kandam. The Rakshasas are discussing how is it that people's hands, all our Rakshas friends, hands are being cut, head is being cut, legs are being cut, but we don't know who's cutting it. Chinnam bhinnam, Chinnam bhinnam sharer dagdham, sharer dagdham, prabhagnam shastra piditam, balam ramena dadrushur naramam shigrakarinam. Somebody's head is being thrown somewhere, somebody's leg is being thrown. So the body is being amputated in multiple places and multiple times in less than a second, but I can't see who is doing it. We can't see Rama, he's so quick. He has that ability. It is called Shaurya. That is the Parakrama. This quality is called Parakrama. Then ज्ञान शक्ति आदि गुणों के का विषय का हम चिंतन करते हैं. So what are the jnana? The 6 gunas. Bhagavan protects his devotees in any way and every way possible. Whatever he must do, he will do. This is his Vatsalya guna. And if you look at the Jnana Shakti Adi Guna, you have Vatsalya, and then you have the 6 gunas, and then Shaurya as well here. So this is referring to both Bhakta and Abhakta. These gunas are for both Bhakta and Abhakta. So what is Jnana? Past, present, future is all known at all points in time by Bhagavan. There is nothing that is unknown to him at any point in time. Everything he knows, past, present, and future. That is his Jnana Guna. Then you have Bhagavan brings everything under his control without an iota of effort. Like Bhagavan Sri Krishna lifted the Govardhan and put it back in exactly the same place. Lifting it is one thing, but putting it back exactly the same place with the roots going back in the same place, same way, exactly, without harming or anything, is his Balaguna. He doesn't have to put effort. Like, when we lift something, this is a very light. It doesn't really, there is no effort. When you lift a feather, there is no effort. But even that is some effort. But for Bhagavan, that is also no effort. That is his Bala. Bhagavan ensures the functioning of all sentient and insentient beings, from gravity to heat to cold to us, what we do, how we do. Everything is under his purview. वो नियमन करते हैं, वो धारण करते हैं. He has the ability to have everything under it. Like a principal has the entire school under him, right? He ensures the functioning of the school. But Bhagavan is even better. Like principal needs those, what do you call those? Web cameras, those CCTV cameras across the school to make sure that children are not loafing around in the hallways and so on. But that is very limited. Bhagavan is within everything and everyone. So he has complete control. He has CCTVs everywhere. That is called Ishwara Guna. But in spite of controlling and sustaining everything, he remains blemishless. Nirvikara he remains, and that is called Virya Guna. Then aghatita ghatana patiyasi, that which cannot be done by any means, he makes sure that it is done. That is called Shakti Guna. Even the strongest of the foes, or the of his enemies, or anyone he is fighting, he has the strength to bring them under his control. He has the strength to control them. He can do that. He will never lose. He can make people do things that they don't think is capable of doing, or they don't want to do. That is his teja guna. So all these gunas, why does Bhagavan have so many gunas? If he wanted us to attain him, at least give us few gunas so it is easy to remember, because the number of gunas that is there, it will take many lifetimes to even understand how many gunas he has. So each guna is upayogi for a certain type of person. See, because Bhagavan is attainable and worth attaining. Everybody wants to attain him, and everybody should have the ability to attain, but they may not necessarily, in the modern term, say vibe with them. Vibe. You may not necessarily want to understand what they are trying to understand. So why does he have the jnana guna? For jnani. I will get in detail now. I think how much time is left? Oh, it's already 1 hour. So I'll just go through briefly, then we can go through next session. You have time, no problem.
Yeah, we have.
We have time.
Just give a little. So for agyani, as in the person who wants to I'll explain to you what agyani is here for this jnana in the coming lectures also. But for agyani, you have jnana guna. For asamartha, you have the shakti guna. A person who is incapable of doing something, he will do chintan on the shakti guna of Bhagavana, and he will also get the strength to do it. For aparadhi, he has the chama guna. Somebody who has done something wrong, he also wants to attain Bhagavan. Then he has the chama guna Bhagavan. Bhagavan will forgive him. There are certain group of people who are going around the world saying everything will be chama, forgiven. Anyway. So then you have those people who are sad, depressed people, right? Dukhiyon. People who, and not necessarily clinical depression. I'm saying people who are just morose. Sometimes there is something, or sometimes people are sad for no reason that they understand. Or also depression, if you look at clinical depression, or a state of clinical state of the mind which is not understood by themselves. By themselves, they are not able to recognize what is wrong. But there is something which is not right. They are not content. For those dukhiyon ke liye bhi kripa guna hai unke liye. That he is there, don't worry, I'm here. So for doshiyon ke liye, some people do something wrong, and there is a difference between the word aparadhi and doshi. Dosh meaning it is
It's a fault, right? Aparadh probably is making a mistake and
it's the cause of some consequence.
dosh. Okay.
Dosh. It is not necessarily an aparadh. Not necessarily something that can be penalized. Aparadhi means something worth penalizing, meaning the king can take action. Doshi means the king will not necessarily need to take action. But for them also there are. So somebody who may do something behind the back, somewhere something he must have done wrong, like hurt somebody, spoke ill of someone. What will the king do? What will the judge do? He will not do anything, but he is still a doshi. So they're referring to different things. For that also you have Vatsalya guna. So if you have a person who is dull or low, mand buddhi कहते हैं ना हिंदी में, mand buddhi, idiot, stupid, like myself. idiot. We don't really understand what Bhagavan is always looking for material wealth. That is called Shila Guna. Then you have people who are devious also. That also you have Ajava Guna for it. Then some people who are just crooked, cruel. For them also you have Bhagavan Sauharda Guna. Meaning they can Sauharda Guna के प्रति चिंतन कर सकते हैं. And some people who like to stay away, don't like to stay away, like they have fear of being alone, like fear of missing out, something like that, FOMO or something like that, fear of staying away. For people who have FOMO also, Bhagavan has a guna, it's called Mardava Guna. And so there are all these gunas. There are also gunas for people like you who want to see Bhagavan. Darshanartha utsuk, उसको सौलभ्य कहते हैं. सौलभ्य गुण है. उन सौलभ्य गुण के प्रति चिंतन करना ही हमारा कर्तव्य दायित्व बनता है ना. तो ये विशेष गुणों का हम जो विश्लेषण कर रहे हैं, चिंतन कर रहे हैं, कि गुण से क्या प्राप्त होता है. ये ज्ञान से यह प्राप्त होता है कि हमारा जो व्यक्तिगत स्वरूप है, हम किस प्रकार के व्यक्ति हैं, किस प्रकार के मनुष्य हैं, उसको जानते जानते हम भगवान का इस ऐसे गुण का हम चिंतन करें जिससे हमारे अपने गुण में पूर्ति आए. हमें भय है तो निर्भय बनाए, हम अज्ञानी हैं तो ज्ञानी बनाए, हम दुखी हैं तो सुखी बनाए, हम रोते समय हमें हंसाए. तो उसके कारण भगवान इन विभिन्न रूपों में आते हैं. That's why भगवान comes in these multitudes of essences. And that is why Ishwar Prakaranam is so important. Because after understanding the self and after understanding our situation, the next step for us is to understand why is this self in this situation. And now we understood that this self is in this situation because of our own dushkarma. How should this self come out of this situation? That also Bhagavan has our back. Now ये भिन्न भिन्न गुण हैं, इनमें प्राथमिक कुछ गुण हैं. There are some important ones. We will discuss that in the next session. So there is some, what is it? Keep something for the next session. You keep looking forward.
Next coming up.
However fast I try to go, it is not fast enough. I don't know why.
That's good.
But next we will talk about how किस प्रकार से अनुसंधान किया जाता है, and we are going a little more deep into it, because when I also learned this, when I studied, I thought the तत्व यही है, ज्ञान वही है, पर जब हम उसी ज्ञान का हम चिंतन करते हैं, the same thing is, you see a completely fresh perspective. It is as if you thought the ice cream has melted, but then you close your eyes, think about it a little, open your eyes, and it's all frozen again. You see, it's the same ice cream and back to the same shape. So it's always new. You realize. So हम ये विभिन्न जो गुण हैं उनका अनुसंधान करना हमारा दायित्व बनता है. अब धीरे धीरे चलते हैं, गुण का चिंतन करते हैं, मनोरंजन करते हैं, भगवान की सेवा है.
That's how we can have as darshan.
Bhagavan says in whenever यत्र यत्र रघुनाथ कीर्तनम तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकांजलिम वाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनम मारुतिम नमत रक्षसांतकम. So Bhagavan, Hanuman ji is wherever we are speaking about Bhagavan, and we are speaking about Bhagavan. And Bhagavan does not like to be away from his devotees, so Bhagavan must be with Hanuman ji. So that means whenever we are speaking about Bhagavan, Hanuman ji is there. Whenever Hanuman ji is there, Bhagavan must be there. So Bhagavan must be here somewhere.
And that part about Hiranyakashipu, or even in the Gajendra Moksham, where he comes to protect Gajendra, but then the byproduct is the crocodile getting moksham, right? So the way you look at it is, yeah, he came to protect Prahalada, but then who was actually killed and got attained the god of moksham, right?
Think about it. Hiranyakashipu if it wasn't for the shrapam that he got in when he was Jaya Vijaya, then he would have attained moksha straight away. But he had to be born again 2 times, so he had to wait probably.
Yeah.
But Prahlada had to wait for 60,000 years or 30,000 years. He had to wait. So who got it earlier? Even if you look at Gajendra Moksha.
Right.
ब्रह्मादयो विकलिंग विदाभिमान नैते दोपससि पूर्णिखलात्मकता तत्राखिलाम रमयो हरिणा विरासितम तद्दार्तम उपलभ्य जगन्निवास स्तोत्रम निशमिति विजय सहस्रस्त्वद्भि छंदोमयेन गरुणेन समुह्यमान चक्रायुधवदाश्यतो गजेंद्र. First Gohi got moksham, and then even Hiranya. There's a beautiful this thing shloka. I think it's called Narasimha Ashtakam, not Ashtakam. Bhukhandam Varanandam, when Bhagawan Narasimha is coming out of the pillar. The beautiful description. I don't know where I heard. I remember this now. The description is so that Ugra, like how Bhagavan was only, that's how the poet has written. I'll get back to you on this next session. It was like this. I remember 1 or 2 shlokas. Bhukhandam Varanandam Paravara Viratam Dampadam Paurudampam Dim 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 Didimbam Dahamapi Dahamai Jhampa Jhampaisa Jhampaihi Tulyas Tulyasta Tulya Duma 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 Kai Kunkumankai Kumankaihi Etatte Purna Yukta Marahara Karaha Patumam Narasimha Bhubrit Bhujangam Pralevavaram Prajwala Jwalamalam Kharjarjam Kharjadurjam Chakachaka Chakachit Kharjadurjarjayandam Bhubhagam Bhogabhagam Gagagaganam Gardamartruddagandam Swacham Pritham Swagacham Najanajanatam Patumam Narasimha. Goes like this. I forget.
Is it from the Bhagavatam itself? The Avatar Shloka?
No, not from the Bhagavatam. I thought it was Vedanta Deshikam, but not Vedanta Deshik Swami. Somebody else.
One little boy.
Narasimha Ashtakam it is called. You can look it up. I'll give it to you if you like. If you can read it, it's enjoyable. Like
I've heard it before.
Yeah, I've heard it too.
Prema Bhagavan used to invoke him with that only when Narasimha's Avataram came in Bhagavatam.
Yes. I think even, now I know where I got it. When I was long time ago, I was listening to Dushyant Sridhar Swamiji. Dushyant Sridhar Swamiji had said this, so I had gone back and found the shloka.
Okay.
Dushyant Sridhar Swamiji, one of his lectures will have, or many of his lectures may have, wherever he's talking about Narasimha Avatara.
Yeah.
We'll have definitely. So this is some good shloka. So yes, Bhagavan is not only available and for us to access, but those people who are not accessing him also, he'll find a way to make sure they access him. It's like a librarian. The library is just sitting there waiting for somebody to borrow the book, but he's like a librarian who's going around telling people, you have to borrow a book, come. So he'll find a devious way to do it. That's what is called Nirhetu Kripa. He'll find one hetu where he has done something good and then slowly direct him towards him only. So Bhagavan has everyone's back that way. That's true. I hope that was a fruitful session.
It was a fruitful session.
Lokacharya Gurave Krishnapadasya Sunave Sansara Bhogi Sandrashta Jiva Jivatave Namaha Narayana Paraveda Deva Narayanangaja Narayana Paraloka Narayana Paramakha Narayana Paro Yogo Narayana Parantapa Narayana Param Gyanam Narayana Paragati Lakshminath Smarambham Nathayamana Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Jai Shri Ram.